I'm Literary Freak 11, and I'm going to talk about the books that I plan on reading in May. The first book I have is The Ninth Dresden Files by Jim Butcher, and I'm already about 150 pages into this, so I expect to finish this relatively early in the month. Really, the conflict has heated up in this book, taken everything to the next level, and stuff is building on each other. Like, you meet a lot of characters that you've met in past books in this one, and, you know, trying to remember how they're all relevant is kind of hard for me because I've read them so sporadically. Like, I've read these 9 books over the course of almost a year, and so it's kind of hard to remember everything. But I'm really enjoying it. I am starting to really fall in love with the Dresden Files. The next book I have is The Tropic of Serpents. This is the second book in the A Natural History of Dragons, a memoir by Lady Trent. These books are about this natural historian who goes to study dragons in a time where it's not only like kind of odd for women to have a career, but to have such an adventurous career. And she goes and studies dragons, which are very, very little information is known about them. And honestly, I loved the first one so much. It broke me, but it is so well written. It's basically like this old lady writing about her life in the past, and I love that memoir feel, like the way that she writes as if she's talking to you. Like, you really, really believe that Lady Trent is like a famous human, and you're like, why have I not heard of her before? And so this is the second book. I think there are 5 books. Next book that I have is Vicious by V.E. Schwab, and I like binge her books in a day. They're so good. This is basically about these 2 college roommates who have kind of discovered superpowers, I think, and how to make them, and their descent into becoming villains. I know that there is also another book to this that people don't seem to like as much, or either conversely like better than this one. And so I'm really excited to read it. Victoria Schwab does some amazing, amazing work. The next book I have is Nevernight. So I hear that you should really read this book. Read everything first and then ignore the subtitles and then go back and read the subtitles, which seems like a lot of work, but I guess I'm probably gonna try and do that. This book is about a ninja school, assassin school, and that's all I really need to know about it. It's been absolutely raved about, and I read Illuminae by Jay Kristoff. I'm hoping this book is better. The next book I'm going to talk about has actually not been released as of my filming this. It comes out on May 7th, and that is The Missing of Claire de Lune. This is the second in the Mirror Visitor Quartet, which is A Winter's Promise is the first one, and I read this book and I raved about it. I immediately put it on hold, so I am the first hold at the library, but it also takes a library forever to acquire stuff, and so I hope that I'll get it within a week of it coming out. The first book is about this girl who has an arranged marriage. It takes place on this world where planet Earth has fractured into these arcs, and these arcs all kind of have different topography. So she lives in a kind of mountainous one, and he lives in an Arctic one. And essentially she gets thrown into all of this political turmoil, and she kind of learns that she's been used as a pawn, but it's so good, and she's just a flawed character in all the best ways. Like, her shortcomings don't make her an annoying character, they make her really relatable. I just loved it, and I can't wait to see what will happen in the next installment, and I'm definitely going to read it at some point. The next book I have is Life in Your World. This is an independently published book that I got in my haul this month, and essentially it's about this woman who lives in this guy's phone, and she ends up being able to come out of the phone to meet him, and she's sent on a mission. Her believability as a human depends on whether she'll be let back into the phone at the end of her mission. Then I have Rain and Delilah's Midnight Matinee, and tell me how gorgeous that cover is. I just love the coloring. So basically, there's two kids, Delia and Josie, and they're high school seniors. They run this TV show together Friday nights called Midnight Matinee, and they become Rain and Delilah, who are these personas that they put on for the show. And, you know, the blurb on the top of this book says it's really funny. And, you know, there's obviously drama. What are they going to do next in their lives? And conflict. But honestly, it just sounds like such a cute contemporary. And now I'm going to be talking about the audiobooks that I'm going to pick up. The first one that I have is Ace of Shades by Amanda Foody. And I've read Daughter of the Burning City. And I loved it. And it was beautiful and amazing. And the world building was excellent. And so far, I'm about an hour and a half in. I'm not enjoying this one nearly as much. It's basically about this girl, her adoptive mom goes missing, and she kind of uncovers the secrets of her past, and she's, you know, learning all this stuff about her as she goes to the City of Sin, as it's known, and tries to find her with this kind of unsavory gang of people, and there's a lot of lying and deception, and whatever, it's like an okay book, but I'm not really that interested in it so far. The next book I have is Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman, and a lot of people have, like, given rave reviews to this book, and it's about time that I got on it, and it's basically a cohesive narrative of Norse mythology that's told, and so, you know, I love most of the things Neil Gaiman does, and he's such a good writer. The next book that I have is Memoirs of a Polar Bear, and this book just sounds so adorable. It's about a family of polar bears, a grandmother, a mother, and a son who is the last of the line, all leading these kind of different lives, writing memoirs. I believe the mom goes to a circus. The son was born in the Leopeg Zoo, and it just seems like such a cute, like, heartfelt, interesting book, and, you know, who doesn't love polar bears? Next book I have is The Fragile Ordinary. This is a contemporary about a girl named Comet who kind of doesn't like attention. She hates her name, and this guy kind of shows up and steals all the attention, and he's like this bad boy, and they end up being drawn to each other. I feel like I'm explaining this badly. It sounded better in the summary, but I'll let you know what I thought of it. The last book that I will be listening to is Canticle for Leibowitz. The only reason I know this book exists is because of Peru's Project, and I really like a lot of her recommendations. This book is about a post-apocalyptic world where these monks are kind of fostering science in secret, and the end result is they're kind of protecting it and worshiping a little bit, and so there's this guy like Sir Isaac Leibowitz who probably, you know, created some scientific discoveries, and so because that has passed down, they worship him, and they're trying to kind of foster the budding of development of technological progress. And I was jogging this morning, and I came across a box of books, and it's funny because I would not have found these books if it had not been raining, because the person who put them out, I guess, knew that it was going to rain, put a paper towel over them, and so because it was damp, I could see through the paper towel and see these books. So I'm very excited to have gotten these. One more thing, and basically this is a book of flash fiction, and like all of these stories are like 2 or 3 pages, and for those of you who don't know, I read a book that was flash fiction, my read in May video, and I actually really ended up liking the story format, and I read the first one and it was really good, and I like this guy's writing, and so I'm really interested to read more. Then I have Pachinko, and this is an Asian-inspired book, and it's basically about an immigrant girl who kind of grows up away from her home, and she ends up getting pregnant by this guy who's really wealthy and powerful, but it turns out that he's married, so instead of letting herself kind of be sold to him, she ends up marrying this kind of sickly minister, and so it's kind of about a little bit of a generational story, and you know, it's got the award sticker. A lot of people have raved about this book, and so I was really excited to find it for free. And then I picked up The Immortalist, and this is also a book that has been on my TBR for a while, and I've heard mixed reviews, but it's not that long, and it's basically about these 4 kids who go and see this woman, the Immortalist, who claims to be able to tell you the day that you die, and then they kind of grow up and separate, and it's about their stories and coming to that point, and you know, the cover is absolutely beautiful, and I'm really excited to read it. That's all I have for now. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I put out new videos every Tuesday, and follow me on social media linked in the description below.